this is Magic World Travel, and today I will be talking about Walt Disney World versus Universal Orlando. Now that I've experienced both parks, I've noticed a few differences between the parks and I'd like to go over them. Walt Disney World and Universal are some of the most popular theme parks in Orlando. There's a lot to cover, and so this video doesn't go too long. I'm only going to cover a few items. So in this video, I'll be going over ticket prices, child swap versus rider switch, and also a little bit about the restaurants of Universal and Walt Disney World. Both theme parks are great, and while we are comparing both, it's not to say one park is better than the other. This will be a look into how they compare to each other. First, let's go over the basics. Walt Disney World has 4 parks and 2 water parks. Universal has 1 water park and 2 theme parks. But they will have a 3rd theme park coming in the next few years. First, we'll go over ticket prices. Universal has a few different ticket options. There's a standard 1 day, 1 park per day ticket, and a park to park ticket. Disney World has a park hopper, which is like Universal's park to park ticket, and they have 1 park per day ticket. Let's start by looking at the standard price. Disney World and Universal both start at the same price. They are also date-based tickets at both theme parks. So that means that depending on when you go, the price will go up or down. So if it's a busier season, the ticket prices will be more expensive. Universal and Walt Disney World both start at $109 for the first day at the lowest rate. Now, as soon as you start going more days, the prices do decrease. So more days you go, the cheaper it will be. I was amazed at the price difference once you get to a 3, 4, and 5 day ticket. Disney World's prices don't change much until you reach day 5. However, Universal's tickets really start to change once you hit that 3-day mark. So at Walt Disney World, by day 5, the ticket costs $91. By day 5 at Universal, the ticket costs $52.80. Now, here are the prices for all 5 days at Universal and Disney World. Disney, 2-day ticket, $107. 3 days, $106. 4 days, $106. 5 days, $91. Universal's 2-day, $106.50. 3 days, $78. 4 days, $62, 5 days, $52.80. Now here are the prices for park to park and park hopper. Disney Park Hopper 1 day starts at $174. Park to park 1 day starts at $164. By day 5, it's $108 for the park hopper. By day 5, it's $66.80 at Universal. So you can see that Universal ticket prices reduce quite a bit the longer you stay. There's a big difference between Disney and Universal prices. Also, for me, I think a park-to-park ticket is a must at Universal and a don't at Disney World. Some people love having the park hopper option at Disney, but I'm not one of them. Disney World is so big and I feel it's a waste of time to travel from park to park, especially because I have kids. And that would be more walking for them to get back to the bus pickup location and walk to the next park from the bus drop-off. Things also just take longer when you have kids with you. And I feel my time is better spent enjoying just 1 park per day. Universal, however, has the Hogwarts Express, and you can't ride it unless you have a park-to-park ticket. It was a very smart idea on their part. Plus, the 2 parks are within walking distance of each other, so it's not as much of a time waster to go between the 2 parks. Both parks have early park admission, although the time in each park is different. You can get early park admission if you stay at a Universal resort or a Walt Disney World resort. Disney World opens up 30 minutes before the park officially opens, whereas Universal lets resort guests in an hour before the park officially opens. However, the amount of rides that are open are limited, and sometimes only 1 park is open for early park admission. When the crowds are higher, they usually will have both Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios open for early entry. Disney World now only gives you 30 minutes for early entry, but all 4 parks offer it, and they usually have almost all the rides open. So even though you get less time, you do have more options. At Universal, most people head to Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure first thing in the morning to try and avoid the long wait it always has. The rides that are usually open for early entry at Islands of Adventure are the rides in Hogsmeade and Velocicoaster. If Universal Studios is open, it's usually in Minions and Diagon Alley, which has the Escape from Gringotts ride. Another thing I noticed is that Universal has few full-service or table-service restaurants in their parks. Islands of Adventure has 3 full-service restaurants. Those are Mythos, Confisco Grill, and Marvel Character Dining. Universal Studios has 2 restaurants that are full-service, Lombard's Seafood Grill and Finnegan's Bar and Grill. However, Disney World has more of an even mix of table service and quick service in each of their parks. Every park has at least 1 buffet or family-style meal. Although if you do want more options for a table service meal, City Walk is just a short walk away, and there are plenty of restaurants to choose from. City Walk is like Disney Springs, only that it's within walking distance to the parks. Disney World is more expansive, so Disney Springs is farther away and requires transportation to get there. Staying on the topic of restaurants, let's talk about kids' meals. I was surprised that Universal has very few restaurants with kids' meals. Just about every restaurant at Walt Disney World has a kid meal on their menu. It's a great way to save a little money on food. Kids' meals are usually around $7 or $8, whereas an adult meal at a quick service location could be $10 to $20. The only restaurants at Universal's 2 parks that have kids' meals are the 3 Broomsticks, Confisco Grill, Mythos, Leaky Cauldron, Finnegan's Bar and Grill, and Lombard's Seafood Grill. Child swap versus rider switch. Walt Disney World and Universal have a different approach to child swap. If you don't know what rider switch is, it is something you can use if you have a kid that can't or doesn't want to go on a ride. At Walt Disney World, you can go up to the cast member that's stationed at the ride and ask to use rider switch. They will then scan the magic band of the person who is staying with the child while the rest of your party goes through the line. You are then free to roam around the park. Once your party returns, then you go through the lightning lane to go on the ride. At Universal, each ride has a waiting area or room specifically made for child swap. Your entire party will go through the line together, and once you reach the ride's boarding area, you will tell a team member that you need to do a child swap, and they will direct you to the waiting room. The people that went on the ride will then return to the child swap room, and you will then go to the boarding area, and a team member will direct you where to go to get on the ride. Some may prefer Universal's child swap over Disney's rider switch. I think both have their positives and negatives. Even though you have to go through the entire line at Universal, you will get on the ride right away once your party comes back. As for Disney, you still have to wait in line, although it should be shorter than the normal line. But some might like the idea of freely walking around the park while you wait for your party to return. So there you have it, a few differences between the 2 parks. Both resorts have wonderful theming and storytelling, and they're both definitely worth a visit. There's so much more to cover on this subject. Let me know if there's something you'd like to see in a future video. What is your favorite thing about one or both of the resorts? Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe for more content.